Hey guys, Wendy Taylor, registered dietitian and food relationship coach. What I really want people to understand is that it's okay to emotionally eat. Emotionally eating is not a bad thing, but here's why it's happening. Okay, history of dieting is the strongest predictor of emotional eating. Society's pressure to look a certain way causes many of us to start dieting and then emotionally eating, and then it just gets worse. So, dieting and being hungry all the time and using dieting as a coping mechanism is actually denying your emotions and your feelings, and food plays a huge role in that. It's using food to distract and disassociate. So let's take a look at some core reasons for emotionally eating and a little exercise that you can do. First of all, you don't know how to feel your feelings. Most people emotionally eat, and they've learned that from their family, how not to process and feel emotions. So maybe they were communicated as a child that emotions were uncomfortable, or we don't really talk about that. And then we just kind of bury them inside. So that's the approach in their family unit possibly. And I know parents are doing their best with the tools they have, and anyway, we don't learn how to process our feelings. And then we're looking for other ways to self-soothe. So many of my clients will tell me, I don't know how to feel my feelings, or I don't know how to give myself permission to feel. And I ask them if they're sure, because I ask them what anger feels like. And almost everyone can describe that feeling. But I like to get really physical with it. For example, where are you feeling your anger? Do you feel it in your chest, in the back of your throat? Do you get really hot or really tense? Then I'll ask them, what does sadness feel like to you? Do you cry? Do you have tears? Do you get a burning in the back of your throat? Maybe your chest feels tight or heavy. Does it feel like you're moving through molasses? What does love feel like? Does it feel like excitement? Do you feel light? What does anxiety feel like? Do you feel it in your stomach? Do you maybe get digestive issues? Or maybe your hands get clammy or shaky or feel limp? Most people can at least put some words to the feelings of emotion. If you can just sit and let some words come to you for a minute, let them sink in and kind of allow those feelings to be there instead of trying to suppress them or avoid them, then your thoughts won't start running away. So what's happening is we avoid our emotions and we do something like emotionally eat, or go scroll on our phone to distract ourselves from those emotions. And we don't give ourselves a chance to really process, and our thoughts start running wild. It's always tied to, it goes back to what happened to you when you felt emotions as a kid. Maybe you got yelled at, maybe you got scolded. Our mind makes emotions a lot scarier than they actually are. So one of the things that I want to teach you all to do is to really learn how to be present with your emotions. So when you allow an emotion to just be there, then it can just move through you and through your body. And when you're doing this, sometimes you have to be eating and coping, and that's the way that you cope. But I want you to stop and ask yourself, okay, what am I actually upset about here? See, we are so disassociated from our physical bodies that we don't even recognize these emotions when they become physical sensations. So let's look at how we become present with our emotions. First of all, we need to become aware that they're even there. So it's easy to get caught up in thinking and rationalizing, but we lose awareness that we even need to feel something. So if your inner mean girl is screaming at you, take a minute to ask yourself, what is it with all these thoughts? Because these are thoughts that normally aren't there. So if they are, then something is going on, something's up. Secondly, become aware of any blocks you have around journaling. People think journaling has to be like this perfect thing or that it has to be so insightful. People get really caught up in the fact that they're gonna have to write something down. It doesn't have to be amazing. I want you all to learn how to journal in lists or in bullet points. At the top, for example, I want you to ask yourself, how do I feel? Underline it, just start listing out all the things that you're feeling, just to acknowledge that they're there. Even if you don't do anything else, this one thing alone can be so helpful because you're actually giving yourself some space to acknowledge that you're feeling without trying to explain it away or run away or rationalize it or get caught up in whatever. You're just stating, this is how I feel, period, end of sentence. If this is all that you do, then this is going to provide some relief. Let's talk about why you don't have to fix emotional eating. Okay, emotional eating is not a bad thing because everything that we're doing is in honor of trying to really self-soothe. And when we don't have the tools that are actually going to help us. So what I want you guys to know is that it's okay to emotionally eat and that it's normal. Part of the problem is that people are hating on it so much that we feel like we can't control ourselves and we get this weirdness about emotional eating. The biggest problem that I see clients struggle with is that they get caught up with emotional eating being a bad thing. And then they get distracted because they're so busy shaming themselves because they ate emotionally. Then after that, they're just obsessing about how much they ate. Then they are looking at ways to fix themselves. So the fact that they just ate something, and then it just starts this negative spiral. So let's just say that you're emotionally eating because you had a bad day at work, or maybe you're stuck at home in a quarantine because all of those things are real right now. Maybe you just feel insecure and not good enough, and you emotionally eat to disassociate. Then you get mad at yourself for emotionally eating, which isn't helpful at all. Let's be real. Then you're trying to fix the emotional eating with a diet or something like that. So if this is you, I just want you to take a minute and ask yourself, why am I emotionally eating in the first place? What is the emotion that I'm feeling? Stop getting distracted by all the shame and the body talk. Just go back to the original emotion. This is your answer. Address what caused the emotion. Women they're identifying themselves as emotional eaters as if it's something that they need to fix. They think they need to go on a diet to fix their emotions. No way. What emotion are you experiencing and why are you experiencing it? It's okay to allow yourself ways to deal with emotional eating, including the eating itself. We don't need to demonize it. This is the concept I teach in Finding Food Freedom, one of them. But if you struggle with orthorexia, I want women that are listening to this to know that there are so many ways that you can take care of yourself, and none of them have to do with food or exercise. You guys, one of my favorite things that I do to take care of myself that has absolutely nothing to do with food or exercise is I really love traveling and connecting with people, important people in my life. And I struggle myself a lot with work-life balance. It's hard for me to just shut it down and be off the clock. It's so hard for me to set boundaries around the computer, social, and work. So this year, I made a commitment to myself and to travel around with my husband. And my word for the year is rest. So I'm working daily on forcing myself to stop and take breaks and purposefully planning some vacation time in 2020. So I want you to think about your own personal journey in terms of struggles and wins. Don't look at the struggles as something to start beating yourself up about, but rather, I want you to look at them as a learning experience and how can you grow from that moving forward. So your wins are going to help, they're going to be something that you celebrate, to celebrate who you are and what you've done. I hope this was helpful. Thank you for joining me for today for this coffee chat. And if you want to learn more about how to work with me, I offer some space each week for one-on-one coffee chats with you personally. So if you would like to reserve a spot, I'll put the link for my calendar down in the bio, in the comments. As always, the best conversations happen after the videos over in our Facebook group, Ditching Diets Together. So I would love for you to join us over there. Also on Instagram, I'm at Pantry Doctor. So come join us and share your favorite ahas, your questions, and your comments. And again, thank you guys for chatting with me today.